Okay, here we go. If you're listening to this, then my sound check worked. Hello, and welcome to the Nick Arsenault podcast. Nick Arsenault here, checking in and recording now, trying something new, but old, but new. What I mean is that I'm trying to record today on my new Bluetooth earbud. And I think it may have noise canceling that will allow me to record while I'm driving. When I first was trying to do this podcast, I did try to do it this way. And what I found was that my car made too much noise. That when I was trying to record, like right to the phone handset itself, I got, I heard all the road noise, the sound of the directionals clicking, and not that you probably aren't going to be able to hear all that stuff now, but I don't think it's going to be as loud as it was then, or the rumbling of the car and so forth. But I guess I won't find out until after I get a chance to listen to this later. So if you're hearing this, that means good, that the road noise and all the background noise is not too loud, and that this is actually a usable recording. The primary benefit of being able to do it that way is that I'll finally get time. Because anybody who's been following my podcast will know that I haven't recorded an episode for weeks now, and it's just simply because I haven't found time. It's just too time prohibitive to do it on any normal weekday. The only times I've been able to record my podcasts are either A, when I stay up way later than I should, recording it after the kids go to bed, or B, when I finally get a chance to be on my own and record it. Which, even when I get times like those, which are very few and far between anyway, I oftentimes have other more important things that I should do, or that I should be doing at those times, or am doing it during those times, which prevent me from being able to work on the podcast. So if this works, that means I'll suddenly have a lot more time to record this podcast because I'll be able to use my commute to and from work. So from where I work to my home, it's about a 20-minute drive, which is a good length of a podcast. It's enough time for me to get into a subject and talk about it, but probably also to your benefit, because it'll also force me to be a little bit more concise about the topics that I cover, knowing that I have a timeline that I have to follow. And for you, it's a clock, but for me, it's actually the distance from where I'm driving to work. So as I see that I'm getting closer to my destination, I'm almost to the exit for my work, for example, it'll be a visual aid for me to know that I will have to wrap it up. I'm also not going to record the video. I could maybe, for example, try to set up my phone away, but first of all, it's the winter time, so it's dark anyway. I go into work 5:30 a.m. So even during the summer, it's still just twilight. So there really isn't that much light. But the more important piece is that it's a safety aspect, right? So if I'm just talking to myself, it's really no different than if I were like on a phone call talking to somebody, and versus having the video and maybe glancing down at it and having to set up. The safety piece plus there's the legality piece of that as well. Since I live in Massachusetts, it's probably honestly against the law. So I'm just gonna do the audio. If you want to see my face, you can go to my Facebook and look at the videos I've posted or whatever. It's just, and the only reason why I want to do a video in the first place is because the podcasts that I am a fan of have, video recordings of them. So I want to kind of have my podcast be out there in the same way as them. But, if you're going to listen to my podcast on a normal podcast streaming service like Spotify or Apple Podcasts or the iHeartRadio app, you're not going to get the video anyway. It would really be only if you're listening to it on Facebook or on YouTube. And I will continue to post it there too, but it will just have to have some kind of a marker video, background picture or whatever. One of the other downsides slash benefits is that I'm not going to have a script. So when I did my first podcasts, I had, well, not really a script, but I had, notes that I could look at while I was doing the podcast. So like, I want to cover this topic, whatever. I would have like bullet points and things I wanted to make sure I cover. And having to keep my eyes on the road, there's no chance I'm going to do that. That would be unsafe anyway. I'm going to just try to go off of my memory. So I say that it's a downside, but a benefit. I think it's a downside for me because I'm going to have to just talk more off the cuff. I hope that translates into a benefit for you because it's going to be more earnest. Like I'm just speaking on things in a way that is more real. That just I'm going to just start talking about a topic. Obviously, I'm not going to just start recording without having something I want to talk about. And I'm just going to have to speak on it and try to remember all the things I want to cover. And, with them being shorter podcasts too, that the topic, if I speak on it and I feel like I didn't address everything I wanted to talk about, I could always just follow up with another podcast and continue talking about the topic that I wanted to cover or add the things or make corrections. So anyway, all that being said, I'm hoping that this podcast improves in quality. I'm also going to try to start saying less and having less pauses in between my thoughts. But my brain is my brain, and I'm just going to work with it as best as I can get it to work. I don't really have any previous experience in broadcast, so I don't have, the chops, so to speak, of speaking in a way like this on a broadcast. Aside from the few other podcasts that were recorded, so I have that, that disadvantage. But hopefully, I continue to create at least interesting content, which keeps you engaged and at least helps me in my quest to get the things out of my brain that I want to share with the world. All right, so that all being said, the main topic I want to talk about today is consciousness. That in itself is kind of an abstract concept, but there are some more concrete topics within that topic that we can touch on. So let me figure out where I want to start. I guess I want to start by saying that I've been listening to a lot of stuff lately, and by lately I mean over the past month or so, that is about like alchemy and consciousness, just basically learning about uh, like secret societies and what they believed as far as like the Rosicrucians and the alchemists and there was a book that I was reading by Paul Foster Case called oh boy, The Secret of Alchemy. I think I will have to come back to you on that because like not having notes, I don't have a way to share it directly to look at something to tell you for sure. But the point is that I've been trying to learn about the science of consciousness. And I'm doing it for a particular reason. I want to cover this first. That if I was doing this like 10 years ago, or especially 20 years ago when I was really into this before, my purposes of it have changed significantly. Back when I was in my 20s, I was studying this stuff, I would confidently say I was doing it for the wrong reasons, right? At that time, I was trying to put myself out there as a musician, and I was trying to study consciousness because I felt like it would give me an advantage in knowing myself and knowing consciousness, how it worked, would give me an advantage over other people, over society, give me an advantage to help me promote my music. You know, I had a desire to get out there to be like an adept, um, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Like using consciousness to my advantage to create my reality in a positive way to improve, get wealth and success. So, not that I don't want those things now, but I want them for a different reason. I'm, as you can tell, I'm getting myself back out there again, but it's not for my own reasons. Well, not directly, I guess I'd say. The reason why I want to try to get my music out there now again, and the reason why I wanted to get this podcast going is I do want to become successful, but it's because I want to make sure that my future is secured for my children's sake. So, for example, I've been trying to get my music back out there. Um, as if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you may see that I've been posting videos, recording myself, recording some of my songs I wrote, um, because I want to get my music career back on track. Not because I want the wealth and the fame, which is what I wanted when I was in my 20s. Uh, well, no, yes, to get the wealth and the fame, but for a different reason. I want the wealth and the fame, and not necessarily fame. I don't want fame. I want just some moderate success so I can you know, be stable. Is because I want to make sure that my future is secured and that I have enough saved up for my children, that I can have a good retirement, that I can have a successful career so they can look up to me as an example, to be a role model for them of how to be successful. Those are all my reasons now, which are completely different than my original reasons for doing it, and was just for the partying and the rock and roll side of it, which is what I used to look forward to before. Um, to digress a little bit, I am working on getting more of my music out there. I have those videos that I recorded this week that I shared. Um, I apologize if it seems like I'm posting a lot all at once. For every full length video that I recorded, I'm also trying to create reels. And I know it seems to be kind of like a flood of media that might be coming out from my account right now. I really don't have any concern about like posting it over a timeline, because I could be like, oh, I record all these songs in one day, but I want to maybe put one out each day, put one out every couple of days, so that way I'm not like kind of just doing it all at once. But I really don't have any concern about that from the point of view as like I just want to get it out there. And really, the only reason why I'm even spreading it out at all is because I'm literally just posting it in the time in between I'm doing other things. I'm so super busy right now with my work and with my children that I really don't have time to sit down and work out like an advertising campaign and do all these things. I'm literally just like, oh, okay, I am taking a shower, after work. I'm going to set up my phone to post this recording I made last night that I did after the kids went to bed, or oh, okay, they're watching a show on TV while we're sitting down having dinner. Maybe I'll work on creating a reel. Like those are the times where I'm posting this stuff. So whenever I get a chance to, on break at work, for example, I'm posting it. in the waiting room at the doctor's office yesterday, waiting for my physical. Those are the times where I'm posting this stuff because I literally do not have time to just sit down and work on it and like spare time. Spare time does not exist in my world. So that's why I'm hoping and praying that this recording comes out in a quality that's usable, because then I might be able to pick up this podcast again, because I'll be able to record it on my way into work, and then I'll be able to listen to it on the way home from work, and then if it's good enough, then post it. Also, too, the benefit of recording just the audio version and not having the audio and video is that I also don't have to do any post editing, which was really time consuming as well, having to edit the video, then upload the video, which takes forever as well. So if the audio works, it'll probably be a way faster process of putting it out there after the fact once it's done. I can see that I'm getting close to work now, so I'm going to start wrapping it up. I didn't even get into the topic I wanted to cover today, which is consciousness. So I will get into that more in my next podcast. But I have a couple more things I wanted to talk about prior to that. The music that I put out lately, well, the same thing as the benefit I'm getting right now with these earbuds is that I also found that the audio recording of the music I've been putting out lately with the earbud, using that as the microphone, has been a lot better. And now, don't get me wrong, I actually have a very nice recording studio. Well, that's in storage right now, pretty much. I have some really nice microphones, mixers, an in-out processor, and I hope to someday get that all set up and do some really good quality recordings. I just simply do not have time. It would take me a whole day to get that all set up and then do a sound check. And then by the time, it would take me hours and hours to get that all set up, to do a sound check, do a recording. Plus, I'd have to pay for the equipment. I mean, not have the equipment, but I have to pay for the software to use it, which I don't currently own any copies of the software, because back in school when I was using that stuff, I had the hacked versions of software that I probably couldn't get those kind of versions now, or even if I could, I know that those come with, the services that come with those hacked versions come with viruses and malware that I don't even want to touch with a 10-foot pole. So if I'm going to do it again like I used to do it back in the day, I'm going to need to pay for, good quality software in order to utilize the hardware that I have. So, and then there's the whole learning curve of, once I install it, I have to remember how to use it, and also the new, format of, it won't take me super long. Like I say, I could probably go from 0 to 60 in a day if I had like a whole chunk of time. Now, even when I have a whole day to myself, I have so much work, so many chores I got to do around the house. I would be remiss if I didn't try to get to some of those other more important things. So, all that being said, I have the recordings that I've made so far. I think it's 5 songs, starting with New Year. I'm going to compile them and put them into a album. I'm not going to bother to print CDs. Nobody's got a CD player anyway. The only CD player I've got is in my car. I know that most people are in the same boat. They're listening to stuff on their phones. No need to create a physical copy. But what I am going to do, though, is I'm going to make a digital album of the music that I recorded so far, a demo album. I think the working title I might have for it so far is the 2023 mixtape. We'll see if that ends up being the final album demo title. But I'm going to put them together. I'm going to use CD Baby, just like we did with the Napsis record and the Market Zero record, and put it out there so that way my music is available not just on Facebook video and on YouTube, but also on all the music streaming services. So you can listen to my music on iTunes and Spotify, and CD Baby puts it on everything. So I'll just put it on every possible place I can get it. That way it'd be more available. And yeah, it's just me recording it one single take with my earbud in my ear as the microphone. Far from the most ideal recording situation. Not in a sound booth, not with better recording equipment, but if it's usable and it's it's considering, right? Considering it's halfway decent. I'm pulling into the parking lot right now, so I'm going to have to finish this up. So I'm trying to get that out before Thanksgiving. So I mean, today's the day before Thanksgiving, so I pretty much have today to get it going. But um, and it's highly likely that this podcast and that will drop at the same time, or that might even drop before this. So I might be talking about something that may be already out. But either way, I've enjoyed recording this, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. And lastly, to one last thing, I appreciate all of your love and support. I've really appreciated immensely the support that everyone's given me so far. Thanks, and take care. Bye.